We spend so much of our young lives wanting to be those grown-ups. We want the career, we want the children, we want the money, the bag, the shoes, we want the lifestyle, we want it all. We want it all for ourselves without having to ask our parents for it. We are looking forward to our adult versions, and yet when it comes, my goodness. Brian, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Yo, here we are.
When they
adult lives.
Oh, yes, adulting.
In
Isn't
our
it a lot?
adult lives, yeah,
Imagine. Wes, how are you?
What an honor, pleasure, and a privilege to be here, Viwe.
True.
Very well, and how are you keeping?
I'm great, thank you so much. We are here to talk about adulthood.
We are here to adults.
We are here to talk about adulthood. You know, I said in my opening, this is something every child looks forward to. You know, when your mother says, I don't have the money for the candy that you want. You know, you walk away thinking, one day when I'm older, I'm going to buy myself all the candy and I'm going to be so happy because that candy is my happiness. And now, a couple of years later, you are here as adults, maybe with all the resources for that candy. Yet, you both look exhausted. You're tired. I'm tired. But anyway. And one, you know, it begs the question, honestly, and it's also the subject of our discussion today, that when did adulting actually become so exhausting, you know? And I want to maybe take that question, the first question actually with you, Mawetu. And it's not in the big things. You know, one would imagine you're tired after a comrades marathon because, of course, I mean, you've been running the whole day and that's how much respect we have for our comrade runners. Or one would think you're tired because, oh my God, you've been on the road the whole day, whatever the case might be. But I feel like we're leading lives that are, you know, that are very exhaustful. And oftentimes we ask each other, oh, friend, how are you? Yeah. How often do you think, I mean, how honest are you in response to the question of, how are you, Wes?
Rote learning. Because I saw it done and then I'm doing it. I don't really overthink it. It's not
you don't
that
even
deep.
pause to be like, it's not that
It's
deep.
not that, as they say, it's not that deep. I'm fine, and how you doing? That time I'm dripping blood.
Wow.
Absolutely. No, look, I don't overthink it unless we have an intimate conversation with someone I can trust, and then I can pelt out how I feel.
But it's not something that you carry with, you know, with that much ease.
A stranger wouldn't be saying, how are you doing? No, my mom was sick yesterday, so I'm just trying to see how she's doing today and all of that.
Wow. So I'm not lying. I'm not lying in saying an average adult in South Africa does feel exhausted, at least at one point in their lives. What has been so exhausting for you, Brian? Like, what do you feel like, oh my God, this one thing has just been like, wow.
You know, life. Life. I think the pressures of the lives that we live and the societal pressures and the work-related pressures, they amount to so much. Yes, you've just asked Wes right now in Dobana, how honest is he in his response when he says, I'm okay, Okanya, how are you? Bro, how I usually answer is, siyamba nazo.
Just her.
Whatever it is, we are moving. But it does not deviate from the fact that kunzima. So zininzi many pressures.
I can imagine.
Ihlo, injalo.
Wow.
It's the truth.
I don't want to think about what you've just said. But anyway, where's like podcast decorum? Okay.
All right.
Oh, come on. We're here now.
Okay.
Come on. All right. We're here.
All right.
You know, I don't know. I don't want to say my views before I ask the question. Yeah. But I know that we've transitioned between two generations at the very minimum. You know, we lived in a time where our parents, in the youthful years of our parents, although we were just maybe small infants into small babies and into little children, but surely one does bear some sort of light or some thought or opinion as regards to, if you look at the generations before us and us, how do you think we fend? You know, do you think we I'm asking on the scale of being overwhelmed and stressful
Yeah.
and leading stressful lives with the multiplicity of what we have to show up for. You know, do you think it is getting worse with us, or it has gotten worse with us than it was with those that lived before us? You know, are we dealing with more today
Yeah.
than we did in the previous years?
I would say we are dealing with more today.
Yeah.
Even the amount of thinking we have because of how much life has evolved, right?
Yeah.
And science, I don't know how true this is, but science seems to have proven that the younger the generation, the more intelligent.
Yep.
Right? Maybe we just vary in our work ethic. But if you look at the amount of technology we have today, the amount of activity we have, you know, there's cryptocurrency, there's ocean economy, there's
Green
there's AI,
economy.
there's green revolution, there's sustainability development, there's electronic banking, there's B2B,
Fourth
there's
industrial revolution, bro. That works.
there is just a whole lot to deal with, even in our non-commercial lives, if I may call it that. It sounds like a contradiction. You would be cooking, people have to study, they have to work, they have to be on social media, they have to stay ahead with the trends. There is just a lot of competing interests, if you like. So you are tired even mentally before you tired physically. You have to wake up, you have to go exercise, you have to go for a run, a jog. You go to work, you stand, some of them, you sitting on its own is tiring. You have to do the school runs. So I think there is a whole lot to do now than just sitting at home. And in the past, there was an option, by hook or crook, the option of sitting down at home. You were not really seated, you were nurturing, you know, you were plowing the fields. Or there's never really been nothing to do. But I think there's more now to be tired over than there was in the past.
I fully agree with you, bro. I fully agree with you.
And I don't know. I like that you agree with him, Brian. I like that you do.
I don't think so.
It's better for me
I don't
to
think
have
you
you guys.
quite like it when we agree.
No, it's better to have you guys agreeing than to have you guys almost killing each other.
Come on.
But let's keep this moving. Brian, I think in the context of what Mawetu has said, that of course there's so much to do.
Yeah.
You know, of course there is, you know, we need to hit our gym goals. You know, you got to hit that gym.
Yeah.
And I mean, we even expand. You can't gym without running. You got to run.
January, I weighed 84 kgs. I'm now 78.1. Nigga.
Right?
But
We're happy for you.
You gotta hit that goal.
Yes. So you're hitting those goals. You're hitting your financial goals.
Sure.
Now you got to spend. You got to earn. You got to save. And you got to hit those skin goals. You know, you have your dermatologist. Do your facials. It's a lot. You know, you got to learn. You got to study. You got to upskill yourself. You got to show up as the best parent.
Your skin is popping, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no, she's glowing. She's glowing, yeah?
It's what I put in. It's what's inside. It's not what's on top.
Oh, wow.
I wonder about what's on top.
Anyway, back at the conversation,
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
If you were to just remove yourself fully and look at our lives and look at humanity in general for what it is, knowing what you know about humans, do you think we create enough time to rest,
No.
to take stock? Okay, it seems you're ready with the answer. Let me let you say.
No,
Why are you
please-
saying no?
No, please finish off, because please finish
I
off.
want to check because I think with everything that Tuweza said, I'm going to partially repeat what I'd already said. That with everything that is highlighted in terms of what's required of an adult in modern day society. Now, the question is, if you had to remove yourself, now this means outside you and your own personal circumstances, when you look at humanity in general, when you look at how we live and lead our lives, do you think we create enough time to pull the plug off, to take time away from everything, to take stock? Or what's your honest view on that one?
My and I was saying no, Zisuka, we don't take enough time.
Sure.
We don't have enough time. 24 hours in a day is not enough.
It's not enough.
No, it isn't.
Wow.
Because kaloku, you must consider, according to your life cycle and being human, you need 8 hours of sleep. So you got 16 hours left, right? 24 hours isn't enough. That's why you find insomniacs.
Sure.
And that's why you find abantu abane hypertension, and that's why you find abantu abane anxiety, because ingqondo ithi okokoko, there isn't enough time.
Dude, if you have a problem with me, talk me directly. Don't attack me.
Wow.
Uyabo? Abantu abane hypertension and anxiety, you know what I mean? Insomnia. And I'm talking about myself.
Oh, man.
How's it, Brie? You good?
Oh, man.
We don't have enough time. I don't think we give ourselves enough time. There's a lot to do. Glendo Webuza was earlier on regarding, previous days compared to now. Back in the day, our parents, we know, indobana, we were cool, uhlala, ekasi, they wanted the best for us, so they sent us to the best schools at the time, right? But now, ngoku thina, as a result of growing up in that, we want the best schools for our kids. However, the demands are huge and they are different. The population in South Africa, in 1985, we were sitting at under 40 million people. We were around 30 million people in South Africa. It is now flipping 2026. We are sitting at over 60 million people. So if you look at it from a perspective of the availability of schools, it's very few and far in between. Like right now, you have to apply a year before when your child has to go to school. Back then, you could just, if you could afford it, you take a child to school. Ngoku, we have to apply a year before so that we can find space. So the demands are different. The demands are more. The times are different, and the times are different, and the demands are a hell of a lot more. I don't think we give ourselves enough time. We don't give ourselves enough time to love ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough time to sit back, relax, and this is why you'll have problems as fun. That's why you'll have psychological challenges in life where kuzawuthiwa umntu just snapped. You know what I mean? It happens, bro.
Ish, yeah.
It happens. So we don't have enough time to answer your question. I don't think we give ourselves enough time.
Wow. So yes, I mean, I feel like from what Brian is saying, it's clear that whatever the dream was of being an adult, buying that candy, affording all of it, and making sure that you never run out of candy is not what we are living. It's not a true reflection of being an adult, because being an adult today comes with the bills, the broken relationships.
Yeah.
It comes with the broken us. It comes with finding meaning in difficult family situations. It comes with financial difficulties. It comes with health problems. And it comes with having to show up for those that you love fully. And as a result, it's not uncommon that amongst us as adults, there is the constant conversation about being tired. How are you? If we ever get to be honest, I think a lot of us would come there, would stand and say, I am just tired. I want time out.
My tired is tired.
And maybe it was, I don't know. Because I also think people don't have much of an appetite for, it's not like an ailment if you're saying you're tired. I feel like a lot of people, it's like a normal emotion. Have we not normalized the feeling of feeling exhausted and tired? Have we not made it, maybe perhaps made it okay, so much that we don't see anything wrong if somebody feels or is portraying signs of being exceptionally exhausted?
I think we have not really normalized it. I think we are embracing it.
Yeah.
Because in the past, when you are tired, tired is synonymized with being lazy.
Yeah.
So you have to overwork yourself. People who would tell us how much Margaret Thatcher used to sleep 4 hours a day and all of that. So we all aspire to that workhorse kind of a human being, And you realize that, no, yesterday I studied until 1 o'clock in the morning. I was cross-nighting and I was burning the midnight oil. So those are the things that we admire that are a sign of a
yearning
good
for success.
work ethic and yearning for success and discipline and hard work. So you do not realize the side effects of, you end up burning out.
Yeah, bro.
I remember
Yeah,
many years
bro.
ago,
Burnout.
This other gentleman died. He was an architect. He died on his drawing board. Yeah, man. So those are people who work hard, and I remember this other guy was a lawyer as well. He was preparing for his cases at my uncle's place, and then he said no, he wants to save my uncle's electricity. He would rather use the candlesticks, one at the corner of the table and one in the other corner, and he would prepare for his case. Imagine you saving somebody's electricity, all in the name of working hard. So sometimes you realize that it makes sense why these people don't live long. You understand? So I think as long as it does not mess with your health, check yourself, look at how much you doing, and sometimes it's the amount of energy we invest into the projects that we have. Such
It's that old phrase, he worked himself to death. When they work themselves to death.
Yes, and there is no balance.
Yeah.
In your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You don't play sport, you don't watch comedy.
Exercise, bro.
You don't exercise, the toxins,
and you're not releasing if you're single plus 40.
In classic style.
Hi, Viwe. Good to have you
Quintessential.
Hi, Viwe. Nice to have you here.
Quintessential.
We've been waiting for you.
but-
We've been waiting for you.
Oh my goodness.
We love you, V.
Yeah. Wow.
I thought I was just affirming that I'm hearing you.
No, of
I'm
course you
hearing
are.
Actually, there
I
was
am hearing you.
there was a joke doing the rounds.
Yes.
That if you do not do that kind of release,
You.
you might have a brain damage.
I will
Because
never
they
not
all-
be honest
they-
to, my,
they
to,
all-
my, to my fellow family out there. I had to just chip in
Yeah.
that maybe, that's also something,
Listen, I call them sperm retention headaches.
Ah,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no. If you
No, I'll
retain,
still
if
disagree.
you
Guys,
retain,
I shall not bear
if you
witness to
retain, if you
anything.
retain too much of it, it becomes a headache.
I shall not bear witness to anything.
We can cut this.
Brian, I'm going
We're
to cut
back.
you now
We're back.
because we still need to maintain podcast decorum.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Sorry.
let's go back.
Okay.
Now, I do want to say, I want a reflection from you, and
Yeah.
hopefully a very honest reflection. There is the idea of this type of adult that you're going to grow into.
Yeah.
Right? That moment, I've described it earlier in the candy analogy, but it can apply in any situation.
Yeah.
And where you looked at yourself and be like, you know what, I will feel like I have arrived if A, B, C, D, and F are on lock, right? And that was your definition of success. Now, whether or not you came to realize whatever you defined in your
achieved it,
20s, what is your current definition of success now? And we're talking about this in the context of this exhaustion, this over-exerted pressure from nowhere, but from amongst us and self,
Yeah.
that we have to achieve and be great at everything. Now I'm saying, what's your definition of success, given what you know now? And if you were to look at when you were 20, how does it compare?
Very different. Very different. My measure of success at 46 is not the same as when I was 20. At 20, flip. This is before having children, before being married. You have an idea of where you want to go. There are certain touch points that I know in Dobana I've achieved and attained. But your goals always shift as a person, especially when you start making life. When I say making life, when you start having kids, your goals shift. So I'll make a typical example.
Yeah.
You are able to buy a Macallan 12. Macallan? You are able to buy a Macallan 12 at the age of 20, right? And you are able to buy one every week at the age of 20 because you can afford it. Responsibilities are very minimal. At the age of 30, when you have, very personal, you said a personal experience, right? So at the age of 23, now I can't buy a Macallan anymore. I need to buy a Jack Daniels.
Yes, man.
Because
And Jack
kaloku-
Daniels was fine.
Yeah,
for the
no,
time.
no,
Oh, nithetha ngotywala kanti.
no, but
Imakhala-
Macallan 12, my man. It's a beautiful whiskey.
Sounds like a car, a mean machine,
Bro,
a
it's
V12
mean,
of
it's
sorts.
a mean whiskey. It's a mean 12. But there's a Sienna. Oh, but anyway,
V12 engine.
Let's bring
McLaren,
it back.
McLaren.
Man.
Wandithetha
Yeah, you need to
ngotywala.
behave, guys. Keep it here.
Listen,
Olo.
so
Keep it moving,
you,
good
you
to
go
call.
you go from buying an expensive bottle of whiskey,
Yeah.
right, which would be your premium brand as by Macallan.
I understand.
Ngoku, you need to downscale to another premium brand still, but it's not at the same level. So
Yes,
you
sir.
go from 1,000 rand to 500 rand.
Yeah.
Right, because of your life circumstances. As soon as your life circumstances change, you need to make different decisions going forward, right? Inan funeka ibe khona, i-Huggies funeka zibe khona, hi Nan, hi Dangies, hey Flip, we're just promoting brands today. Pay us. So your responsibilities change your dreams sometimes. Whenever I feel, I am 4 kids deep, and yabona ngoku, what I wanted at 20 was to be well traveled, was to be a CEO. Right now at 46, I'm well traveled. I'm not a CEO. You know what I mean? And I say that with pride because the responsibilities have forced me ubana mandenze decisions ezithile. So I was telling my son, for instance, it was his birthday recently, and I was saying to him, at 23, I had you. My options were to either continue studying or work and study. So I worked and studied. And I spent a lot of time away from him. Formative years, I worked a lot. I worked hard, right? To make sure that Umchita is cool. So that dream of chasing the CEO position had to instantly shift because of life circumstance. I have no regrets about it, but I think we need to be forgiving towards ourselves. Give ourselves enough time as adults to be forgiving towards ourselves when it comes to certain achievements that we have not attained. Don't push yourself too hard. Life changes, situations change. Your responsibilities alter. But give yourself enough time to at least forgive yourself and at least still have a plan. You know what I mean? I'm still chasing the CEO position, best believe me. Now that they're grown, goddamn, watch.
I love it because with that,
Wow,
with
I
that,
have
with that,
a lot of self-forgiving to do.
I know.
guys,
Sorry,
like-
you're saying him.
I have a lot of self-forgiving to do. He says we should forgive ourselves,
Ourselves.
For the fact that things haven't turned out exactly the way we
Yeah,
desired.
Oganye within our time. Yeah. It's still gonna happen. It's still within our guys. We wake up breathing, so it gives us time. V, are you not about to become a doctor? Goddamn, yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I think based on what you've just said, and I respect where you ended with us having or to forgive ourselves
Yeah.
if whatever we had set out to be
Yeah,
is not
hasn't come to fruition.
hasn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
Excuse my stuttering.
Sorry.
But there's also another question because you reach 40. For other people, they imagine 40 plus even is when you should be slowing down and maybe thinking retirement and stop pushing too hard. And that's you, and that's all 3 of us right now. But there's also another school of thought that says, no, you can start and you can reinvent yourself as many times as you want.
Absolutely.
Right. But when does ambition stop? Sir? Because in the context of being exhausted by our current lives, in the context of understanding what's starting something else and the weight of it and going into untested waters, unfamiliar grounds, when do we then officially say, listen, ambition, it's time for you to take a break because I'm old now. I'm not going to be chasing new dreams. I'm not going to be chasing new accolades. I'm not going to be pushing for anything. I'm simply going to maintain whatever is working till my dying day. So when do we sit ambition down? Because we are tired. We all know we are exhausted. Mawethu.
When do we sit ambition down? I would say ambition, there's nothing wrong with ambition, right? Just as long as in pursuit of ambition, you are training yourself to be content with where you are. Brian spoke about self-grace, right? You pace yourself. You say it is okay when you have undergone some failure periods, some periods of stagnation in your life, but you keep on trying to jump over stages and hurdles.
With what energy? Aren't we tired?
That's why you have to pace yourself.
I see.
Immediately you start racing and competing and comparing, then it becomes very much of an implosion, waiting to happen, right? Because you are measuring your success and accomplishments in life based on what others have accomplished, based on other people's talents, based on what other people's authenticity, based on other people's blessings, instead of looking right inwardly and say, what are my capabilities? What is the likelihood of doing well in certain aspects of my life? Why am I not making capital of my own gifts and talents and trying to live a fulfilling life instead? Maybe once we let that be our ambition, to live a fulfilling journey of life, I think that's when a dangerous, so to speak, ambition stops.
I love that. I love how you opened, by the way. I think if we are content, I think that's my only submission on this topic. That if we prioritize being content with wherever you find yourself, I feel like at least you will have dealt with much of what would overwhelm your head. I don't think at this age anybody deserves to be
I think somebody, Viwe, once mentioned it well, that being content, it doesn't mean you do not desire more.
Oh, absolutely.
It means you are content with what you have while hoping and believing that there is more to
possible.
come.
Yes. I love that. There's this whole thing that, you want to achieve something. You achieve something. But the more that you wanted, that you hoped would give you the type of freedom. By freedom, I mean more time, more rest, more reward, more happiness, more everything. And then it ends up giving you actually more anxiety. And I'll mention a few examples just for clarity. You find somebody that says, you know what, I want to move into my own home. I'm tired of renting a property.
Yeah.
And then God, from your mouth to straight to God's ear, God delivers and he goes, chwa, there's a home
Here's
now.
a house for you.
Now, suddenly you cannot be texting a landlord and be like, the water pipe has burst. It's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, you can't be saying, oh my God, there's a crack on the wall. I need you to come. Oh, my light is not working. Now, suddenly all that sits on you. Is it possible for somebody to pray for something and for that same thing to be the reason for their own overwhelm?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people are victims of their own success. Sometimes. Okanye, some people are victims of their own pursuit for success. That is why you will find suicides and depression.
Among successful people, actually.
Yeah.
Or what we think is
or what we perceive to
as
be.
successful.
Yeah, what we perceive to be. Some people will commit suicide for not achieving the success that they want, or that they sought or desired. Some people will achieve that success and that's the rooftop. There's nothing else to do. So now the frustration creates vacuum. Yobana flip. There's nothing more to do. And you're anxious. I still want to. And you can't. You'll find yourself having, and I say this from a personal perspective, right?
Sure.
When I started TV, I knew in Dobana it's about communications and media, right? And whatever sphere, whenever I felt that I had hit the roof, I left, right? I left, right? And that's exactly what's happened in terms of progression, in terms of my career. Sendizo figure level in terms of communications and the communications background that I have. It's as a result of hitting the roof on some. I'm bored here now. There's nothing else to do. Let me try something else. Flip. okay, there's nothing else I can do, nothing new. That anxiety to always attain or achieve more will always be there for some people. Creatives, zinjalo. And I'll speak about the creative industry itself. There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of people who, at the height of your success, it just happens, Ubana. Flip.
I
It's
agree.
just-
And
if I may-
maybe to maybe even expand from what Brian has said, because I think we may have used things. It's also possible that the type of wife that you are like, "Yabona loans, I'm going to marry this girl."
Yes.
yeah.
And this girl also now ends up being the source of your misery, because
Yeah.
maintaining
Yeah.
her happiness and keeping her close to you is also now becoming a source of your own unhappiness.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Wes,
yeah.
you were
No,
going to
exactly.
come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier on, we were shooting, right? And
Yeah.
there was some construction works going on outside.
Oh, around the building, yeah.
Yes, people were painting, they
And-
were
and
scrubbing
knocking
the
the walls,
walls,
yeah.
and they were
Yeah, yeah.
knocking and so on.
Yeah.
And then it started raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it rains, buy an umbrella, but know that there will be some construction disruption or construction,
Works.
works will be on hold
Yeah.
Okay.
because of the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want the rain because rain symbolizes wealth.
A blessing.
For
yeah.
So even in our personal lives, if you want success, I'll make a very silly example just to piggyback on viewers.
No, say it. We
Right.
know you're capable. You're not piggybacking. Take the center stage, Wes.
Hey,
Cook, mama, cook.
she
Baba.
just manages to just hit to go for the rib cage.
Bruh, she goes for the knee
Anyway,
or the
so
ankle or the
with
rib,
new
this one.
success, you find new admiration
Yeah.
Yeah.
from people of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Just
It's a risk, so you must manage that risk and mitigate that risk.
okay.
Guys, study risk. You'll thank me.
Yeah. Risk assessment.
You understand. You're basically, what does my success mean for me? How do I remain grounded? How do I remain humble? How do I not let do I not let it get me drunk? You know, how do I not get drunk on power? How do I not abuse my authority? Because these are the realities that CEOs are facing. How do I become a CEO while having to read all of my emails and attend to all of
all my emails.
to all your emails and
giving all my
open
clients
items
the
and
same
tasks
respect.
and
Exactly.
and go and give a talk, on
Yeah.
some industry seminar, so and be on the road and spend time with family. So you need to understand, with every blessing comes
And
a whole
responsibility.
lot of responsibilities and obligations that may limit your time for leisure and and
For every blessing you get, there's a devil that's going to stand against it, my friend.
so
It's not
once,
gonna be easy for
once you are alive and alert to those realities, then you will find a way of assessing, managing, and mitigating.
I love it. I love it, and I want to piggyback on my own statement. Can I do
We
that?
know you capable,
I'm,
so you don't
I'm
need to
writing my
piggyback.
own statement here. Okay. So let me write from the back and say. So I'd said earlier that, maybe this woman that you saw, you felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going to marry her.
The one.
Oh.
Yeah.
This one is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of men have
I
gone through
can
that.
go poetic. I can wax lyrical.
She's
I'll go biblical after you go poetic.
now you've got this woman.
Yeah.
And I want you to reflect if this has ever been a personal experience of yours. If not, it's okay. We can stick to principle, Now, stuff, nje, one and one is not twoing for you. There's a point, because I don't believe as mature people, we should not be able to serve ourselves with at least our basic honesty.
Yeah.
Now
Yo.
the question is more now to say how comfortable are you at owning your truth forward?
Yeah.
And I'm going to make an example. The one and one that's not coming together, perhaps, for the purposes of illustration in this example, is that, Sana, you're going through a financial ditch. And I feel as adults, everybody has had that moment in life. Because poverty will have an ugly way of showing its head when you least expect it, especially as an adult. Because you feel like I've figured this thing, Now, how comfortable are you in telling and being honest as a man about something that is valued so highly, by your counter gender? Are you comfortable enough to say, I am struggling financially, immensely, and I will not be able to carry you
And
or
also-
carry the relationship? So when I was married, one would imagine you wear a ring on your finger, on your marriage finger,
For sure.
and I'm opening the fridge of a spa in a certain instance, a shop, grocery shop.
Yeah.
And this dude comes to me. And his words, of course, he's draped in logo and label and whatever you call it. And in his small talk to me, I don't know whether it was a beautiful pickup line for him, but he speaks to me from this point of beautiful ring, but I can buy you a bigger stone.
My goodness. Yo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
That's some
in a
disrespectful
society
shit.
where also men do compete
That is some
and all of
disrespectful
that,
shit.
how do you find having to declare to somebody where you know you could actually be exposing yourself and to some rejection of some sort? How comfortable do you feel with telling your partner, ukuthi, in fact, andikho right, futhi my being right is going to take the next couple of years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, if somebody is my partner, then they ought to have provided a very conducive space for me to actually pour my heart out. But if they don't, then maybe there is something that
What sort of space are you talking about?
safe space.
I'm trying to say, what does she need to offer for you to know that I can actually tell her, bro, I am as broke as hell at this point in my life?
Yes. I should be able. She
What
sees
does
me
she need
naked.
to say?
She sees me naked. So I cannot go lower than that.
No,
Is
men,
naked-
men,
is
men,
naked such a
men is
bad
not the lowest thing. Men get naked everywhere, guys. Like, no.
Men get naked everywhere.
Guys, men get naked.
How do you know?
Guys.
How do you know?
Men, I'm not, like, from basic experience, I've
Okay,
never, I've never seen,
I get what you say.
I've never seen
I
a
get
man
what
that
you say.
shies away from getting naked. You know, for who's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm only going to undress in the bathroom. Then I'm gonna come wrapped in a towel.
All right.
No, those are ladies' things.
Fine. Okay, let's not be veered off. But I hear what you're saying, and it's true.
Yeah,
we should be ashamed of getting naked all over the show.
yeah.
But we've normalized
You
it, and we're
should
no
be.
longer
You should
ashamed,
be.
right?
Sure.
So, but now with the one that matters,
Iintula zenu ziyaziwa ikhandre.
imagine a 45-year-old one.
Izeno zaziwa?
We don't have to equalize everything.
No, I'm just saying.
The whataboutism.
Kalogu, guys. Let's not trivialize. I think.
No, we're not there. You're making this a gender war. We're not.
No, it's
we
not a
just
gender
want
war.
to
Not a gender war.
find
Not a
out
gender war.
whether or not you're comfortable telling somebody that you've yearned for so much. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, this one is a keeper.
Yeah.
We're not just talking a random girl.
Yeah.
This girl where you're like, this one I'm marrying.
Yeah.
But the problem is I am
Trans-
so broke.
Transparency, V.
Do you tell them?
Transparency, V. Now, are you telling them at a point where you married already, or prior?
I'm saying at whichever point, do you tell them?
But I should be transparent with that person. If I think the most expensive thing for everyone is vulnerability. It's a risk. It's investment in each other. It's care. All right. Well, I won't even mention love. All right. Those are the most expensive for me. So if I'm not giving away any of these things, then I'm selling that love short or that relationship short.
But to be direct,
Right. So now, if I cannot come to you, Viwe, and be vulnerable and say, because of this and that reason, I am therefore broke, because of my bad decision making, or because of my being shortchanged elsewhere, I have landed in this undesirable financial state. Why can't I share with my life partner such an
I
information?
understand. It makes perfect sense at the
Okay.
principal level. Have you ever had to be vulnerable to somebody that you feared losing by something that possibly meant so much to them?
Well, when you married, because I mean, your marriage. Well, let me not talk about marriage. You know, hence I'm touted as an obsessed human being. In any relationship, there's a honeymoon phase, but we move past the honeymoon phase, and then there is a you know, do whatever you may kind of phase. You know, there's a as in fuck all, you know. And there comes a time when you start attacking each other for some reason, right? You did this, you didn't do that. That's why this is not happening and whatever. So when more of that is happening, you end up being measured, right? In how you can reveal, certain sensitive parts about yourself, right? To that person because of how they have become. You could have become like that to them as well, if you don't work on the health index of your marriage, right? It becomes difficult to come out. You sort of like conceal because you want to protect yourself. Am I making sense?
I understand you
Absolutely.
are. You are. I wanna
Absolutely.
add and maybe direct this one to Brian, because for me the fundamental thing is recognizing that some of these things are what contributes to the gross exhaustive state that we exist in. Where you're trying to show up, where sometimes an honest conversation and reflection, about where you are could literally lift up the same pressure that you are now in, right? And hence the question is, from the person, Brian, that you love the most, is it possible for somebody to own their story forward, risking everything, risking losing the person, by just electing to say, listen, I will free myself from any expectation by declaring forward that Jonga ke Baba as kipila, one and one are not twoing, like akuhlangani, you know what I mean? Because I imagine the relief that should come with. I'm not quite sure how men view it, and hence I'm pointing the question to you as well.
Look, have you guys ever listened to Maxwell's Pretty Wings?
Pretty wings,
Yeah.
your pretty
Yes.
your pretty wings.
The first line of that song says, "Time will bring the real end to our trial." And that's how he starts the song.
Please deliver it in song.
Time will bring the real test of our trial. One day. Wait. Then from there, he goes on to say, Ndobana, away from me to see clearly the way that love should be. When you are not with me,
Romantic you are.
I had to live. I had to leave.
Get-TTK. I stop abhale lyrics phasi.
Rewinding a pen.
I rewinding orange fine point.
You guys are idiots. Like, why do I have friends like these? But my man, what he says is, and it relates so much to what we're talking about. Yobana, we need to give ourselves. Remember, I said we don't give ourselves enough time, right, to forgive ourselves. He says at some point, Yobana, away from me to see clearly the way that love should be when you are not with me. I had to live. I had to leave. I had to live, I had to leave. I had to leave in order to live. Right? Kabelo Mabalane,
to see
clearly the way that love should be. When you are not with me, I had to live. On top of Londoleo, you take a look at a person like Ukabelo Mabalane.
All right.
Who has a book called I Ran for My Life. Right?
What a beautiful story, by the way.
And he
do you see how he changed his life around
completely
being active?
Completely.
He's a pastor.
He's a
I
pastor.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
So he
When
talks
God calls,
in the book. He talks about how he had to run away from a certain life in order to get to the life that he's in now, and it included running. So it's
a beautiful narrative.
It's a beautiful narrative, but you had to run away from something in order to get somewhere.
In order to run towards something.
Towards something, yeah. So I think Eyona Ndibalulekile in our lives is, apart from giving ourselves enough time to forgive ourselves and giving ourselves enough time to recoup and to recover. Eyona Ndibalulekile, guys, I think we need to realize that moment in our lives when it's time to heal self. And you won't find that healing in someone else. you need to heal you. At the end of the day, guys, we need time to ourselves. You can't walk into a relationship as 50%. Ucinge fanba, that's my better half, so that's your other 50%. You need to walk into that relationship whole, knowing your failures and your flaws, so that they don't permeate onto the relationship itself and they don't reflect themselves in the relationship ezayo. Zingafikeleli kulo muntu ozawujola naye ngoku ufike seune-imperfections. Fika i-imperfections zakho uzazi. You need to get there knowing what your imperfections are. You need to get there knowing what your strengths are. You need to walk in there whole and full, so that when you take this journey with this person, if you're going to take a journey with a person, at least you know you are walking in fulfillment.
I understand. I understand. And I like your approach, because you're starting right at the beginning of this relationship or this something. But I also know that two people do get together, and do live lives. And along the way, exhaustion starts to show its ugly head. Yeah. I know that within couples, for an example, a woman could be faced with children. I'm speaking from that space, where there's work, there's children, there's parent in my case. I mean, and there's all these other things that require of you to apply yourself meaningfully, right? Yeah. And that exhaustion is not there. It's not something I would have known going into this relationship with you. But now here we are. What do you think are the effects if now two of us, I mean, you're dealing with your own issues, Wes. You're dealing with your own. I'm having my own. What weight do you imagine that would bring into the relationship? Where two adults that are having to live with the complex issues of modern day, of being a modern day adult, with everything that we have to deal with. How do you think that affects us as couples? And what do you think needs to be done? Or maybe, maybe if this were to be considered, it would lessen the burden of exhaustion amongst the two people. Should we even get together? Because I feel like our lives are just also a lot on their own.
Bro.
V, you onto something. You are so onto something. Why do I need a partner if I, on my own, am so insufficient and defect, But, V, I always maintain that two is better than one, right? You can tackle a problem on your own, but immediately you're a team, it becomes easier. I think many unions fail. They fail because there is so much focus on self,
really,
than the union. Yeah, it comes to a time when people have taken a solid decision to be selfish, regardless of what happens.
You just took my rib.
To the union, all right? But if the union supersedes all your individual wishes, that union shall remain, and you are seeing yourselves less or not above the union itself. You are seeing yourselves as an individual below the union. All right. So now you've got your problems, I've got my problems. How about we start sorting out your problems? And then when we're done, we can come to my problems. And maybe in an attempt to sort out your problems, mine automatically will be sorted.
It was that linear though in relationships. I wish
we have to stop and think.
No, I just wish it was that linear where we know that, okay, because Wes is presenting a very beautiful story where we start with your problems, Viwe, and maybe
it's just an example.
I'm just making an example, and it's a good example because part of what the question was trying to show was that in a very unorderly manner, okay, this is not at the beginning of this is us running what we've established as our normal lives. Sure. But we're now experiencing exhaustion in a different pockets.
Right.
That does not take away the fact that you are aware of what I'm dealing with. Because I share with you. I'm also very much aware of what you're dealing with because it's not a space that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that what do you think the toll of exhaustion takes on couples? In that stance. And I want to challenge you further because even though you responded and not maybe directly to the question, you brought in another dynamic into the conversation.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's a dynamic.
Sometimes I get excited.
No, it's a dynamic I would like to expand on if you'll allow me to. Should I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
You brought in these two dynamics, which I think for us we might want to expand on. I know we don't have time for it, but I do want us to think about. The first one is the fact that two minds are better than one.
For sure.
I have my own problems, you have your own problems. You are one person dealing with your problems, I'm one person dealing with my problems. The very amalgamation of our lives means our problems become the true representation of both of us. In other words, if I had 50 problems and you had 20 problems, instead of dealing with 20, like you said, two minds are great for 20 problems, we're now two minds for 70 problems, because I brought my 50. So for me, I want us to think quite carefully about that. You know, I don't know if I should pose it as a question, but for me, it almost assumes that the burden becomes lessened, whereas the burden could actually be elevated, because you don't really know. Even if you know, but the partner's problems could actually add to the basket and give you a bigger portion of problems. And the second other thing is we need to really get to a point where we agree whether it's okay to be selfish or not. Because in another episode that I had with Brian and Nolondo, where we spoke about being a wholesome person, being a wholesome person in the sense that there is no better half here. There is no... There you are the better half. There is you presenting yourself in the relationship wholly and centered on your whole wellness. Because if you're well and you are anchored in your wellness and in your wholesomeness, you become a better person to now go and be in a relationship, hopefully with somebody who's also invested as much in their own development and wholesomeness. Okay?
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure if
now, and part of that in practical daily lives means I have to show up for what I can resolve on my own, so that what I can't resolve on my own, I can bring forth to us as a union to work through. And the same should be applicable to you as a partner. Now, the minute we define that as being selfish, because I'll tell you
Viwe, you have just done a very eloquent description of two is better than one.
That's exactly it.
That's two is better than one.
That's
but
exactly
being
it.
Let me
selfish,
solve.
I'm for being
Let me
selfish.
take what I
You
can
for
on my
being
own
selfish.
Yes.
as an individual.
Okay.
Right? Let me tackle this problem on my own as an individual. And whenever I need my partner to assist, I shall call on my partner to assist.
Ah.
The same they do. So those are two brilliant minds at work, and they are a tag team to say, okay, handle that one, I handle this one. But whenever I need help, I shall scream and shout.
And,
you know.
And to add to Lendita Tayo was, I fully agree with you when you say Ndobana, she's just made the most eloquent description of two is better than one.
Clean.
V, your selfishness, right, serves us both if it is for our success. So when you want to be successful in life and you are selfish about that, that's what drives you. That is what gives you your ambition, right? It's what, and now as a partner, I need to understand low selfishness. Yobana, Uvio wants to succeed in terms of finances. I want to succeed in terms of, and I'm selfish about my ambition and my drive. As long as your selfishness and your ambition drives towards a common goal, ni grand. Where it falls apart is when you don't give yourself enough time to just understand umana flip. You talked about relationships earlier on, right? And marriages. There's a friend of mine, got married to a girl whose sisters wasn't working for the longest time, right? And Umchita had told himself in Dobana, I'm going to stand for us because this is the woman I want. And I will be able to supply, I'll be able to do everything for us up until stuff works out, right? And he gave himself Londo in Dobana, I'm going to push myself to that extent. Kwenzeka in Dobana, at some point, Mrs. found a job and Umchita lost his. Now, that sense of provision that you had, you're tired, obviously. In Dobana Flip, it's been a couple of years, it's been 9-10 years I've been doing this alone. But when it's supposed to be reciprocal, right, it doesn't happen. It didn't happen for him. It goals as a shift, as a changer. In Dobana, okay, now I'm leaving you, Aibo, Kandi. I thought we were in this together, right? It goes back to what, when you're tired is tired. If you have a partner that is able to pick you up or when you carry the weight when you're tired, you got a good thing. If you don't, and that's it. You don't have that person.
What do you think
good
maybe
move on.
people should look out for when they're fighting? How do they identify whether or not they're fighting the real fight
Hey,
or whether the
understand-
fight is really a communication to say, as in Katele Bandla, I'm just physically excited.
Understand the source, man. Understand the source of the fight. Understand the source.
The root cause.
Yeah, the root cause. Understand what the root cause is.
do we have enough time, though, in the heat of the
We
fight
must make time.
to analyze what the fight is about?
Someone needs the
We
intellect.
must make time. But it's true. What you're saying, people's feelings are valid.
Yeah.
People
Absolutely.
people feel suffocated in relationships.
Yeah.
Financially, physically, mentally, spiritually,
Emotionally.
right? And because it happens in the setting of a relationship, I more often than not blame my partner for it. And sometimes at the expense of taking my own accountability for contributing towards that state. You understand? So I think what Brian is saying is very important to understand. If you can't understand it of your own accord, then find help.
Yeah.
Right? The help that can troubleshoot your actual problems. Accountability, transparency, honesty. Right? Because some of us are suffering because of childhood traumas. I'm making an example.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have seen things done a certain way or we have been treated in a certain way. And that manifests itself later on in life while you are in a relationship. And it hurts the relationship. But up until you own that deficiency, you will always blame it on the other person. You will blame it on the union itself. So when we're blaming things on the union, we're quick to short circuit the union and say, this thing is not working.
Sure.
Let's quit. Quick and fast. Years later, after we've quit, you realize that, why did I?
Bro,
Because now you have a more educated understanding of what your problems were. Yeah.
at that moment you were emotional. Ngoku, the intellect comes back. Ingqondo comes back. You know when I could have treated it and you
Differently.
made-
Knowing what you know now.
You made an emotional decision based on what should have been a rational one. So we need to be careful of those. Nice one, Wes. Nice
I love
one.
that. And for this moment, dear navigators, we shall be branching into our Dear Us corner. The letter goes, I am XXX, and I will not say who it is. I am 25-year-old, a 25-year-old male. I'm interested in dating and relationship. There are problems for us as Generation Z men. How do we behave in relationships? And how do we make sure that we do not end up having mental issues?
Yo.
And how do we balance work, studies, and relationships in our lives? Yeah,
Sure.
that's all I have to say. I love the fact that he's a male. I love
Right.
the fact that
He's
I've got,
coming
and he's 25.
Yeah.
And I've got Uncle Bay, and I've got Wes, and I want to see, has everything just been talk shop? Here is a 25-year-old son.
Yeah.
He is looking to balance his life because exhaustion is real. Okay. And especially for them, he highlights the Gen Z issue, which I'm not quite sure how you relate, but let's hear you. Wes, shoot.
I was once at an age where the Gen Zs are, man.
Hey, bro. Susuka khona.
Young, full of life, impressionable.
Young,
So
dumb, full of
obviously, my reasoning now is far fetched. Or right, my reasoning now is a far cry from what my reasoning used to be when I was 25 years old. So what I would say is, he wants to focus on his career, which is a beautiful thing, right? And he sounds like somebody who is fond of romance.
Yeah.
Okay,
Aish, it takes one to know one, right?
Ole Roma.
guys, we're talking about this young man who's 25 years old. Can we not shift the syllabus and scope?
Okay.
Stop.
I am sitting my
This is a scope.
backside.
This is a scope creep.
I am putting
on.
my backside
Go
back on this chair. Talk, Uncle Wes.
He wants to start. He wants to succeed. Now,
Yeah.
I once watched a movie, right? I think it was Chris Rock. he was working for some stocks company, and then this guy says to him, "You can, you can lose a lot of money chasing women,
But you'll never lose
but you will
money
never lose women chasing money."
Yep.
Now, if I were to flip the script, I would say,
Yep.
Mr. 25-year-old, right?
Congressman.
You're still young, you're still full of life, you are not forgetting. Make your success a priority at the moment. And then as you attain that success, it will be easier for you. You'll have a coterie of women to choose from, right?
Chisa.
Do not be mischievous towards women. Pick one and stick to
Stick to
them.
one like your dad is telling you. Okay. This is an old man equivalent of a father.
Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, that's how I would advise a 25-year-old me.
We love it. Father Brian. Tatu Brian.
I
Tatu
have
Zulu.
I have a son who is 2 years younger than Anonymous.
Yeah.
My son is 23. And one of the things I said to him was, you have no business getting into a relationship and committing for the rest of your life unless you have things of your own.
Chisa.
You bring some other auntie's child into your life knowing, Ndobana, this is what you can provide so that they can see what you have. And
How
what you can
realistic
provide.
is that though?
Very,
Okay.
especially if you focus on yourself first.
I love that. Okay.
You need to what I was driving him towards, Anesu, was, chap, you must have ownership of your own things, so that when you bring this auntie's child, this other mother's child, they must know, Ndobana, life can continue whether you are here or not. I have my house, I have my car, I have my career, I've accumulated this in life, and life will continue whether you are here or not. We can complement each other and we can do more. And we can do more. So now you must have your own. And we will leave our places. This is how you generate wealth and accumulate wealth. In Dobana, okay, babe, let's go buy a place together after we decide to commit to forever. Well, let's leave these places, rent them out. They're going to generate wealth. You don't have a child at this point.
I love it.
You go and get a place, right? And that's how you generate wealth. So what I'm going to come to now is, Anonymous, my man, take your time. Take your time. The times are different. The pressures are very different. But what will always be a constant is presence of mind for self. You need to be able to be there for yourself, firstly, before anyone else. I think
I love that. The daddies have spoken, Anonymous. I know you're not anonymous. We just felt not to share your name. I think thank you so much for trusting us with your story. Thank you for submitting it for us to consume and for us to learn from. And we do encourage other viewers to also do the same. We are running Dear Us for the next month. And there is a prize at the end, but the prize is not the real prize.
We're giving shit away, nigga.
Right. The bigger prize is honestly how we can all grow from learning from each other's stories. So I do want to encourage everybody to participate. But back to Anonymous, I think the fathers have spoken. I call them fathers in the context of your story because they are much older men. And we understand and respect how the issues might affect you. We understand that at this point you are 25 years old. We all wish we were your age, but unfortunately we're on the wrong side of life already. The declining surely bano afbo bigger than have.
I'm close to sexy, baby.
They have afbobs nabo bani.
I'm close to
Kumi
sexy.
funeral policy in the studio because it's older men and a younger lady.
Look at you.
But having said that, Anonymous, please carry this forward. Carry what has been said here forward.
Yeah, man.
And add to that this. Not everything is for you. I think you need to find and always learn to stick with what works for you.
Yeah.
To avoid the exhaustion that we're talking about, being in every space and being a jack of all trades will only weigh you down. I like that you've got career at the top of your mind. I think Uncle Wes has spoken to that. And if you make that your compass, maybe not all will be lost in the end. And Gen Z dating, we can't pretend like we know, But we also just know relationships generally, and enough for us to actually tell you that maybe whatever you are concentrating on and consuming much of now will not be there when you are 45. So keep that at the back of your mind. As you put a lot into it, it might not survive, or it might, but it's quite a risky one for you to put all your eggs in it. Maybe let's focus on work and building ourselves, understanding ourselves, and maybe let's
Knowledge of
focus on
self.
us bigger than we are at anybody else at 25. And that's from Auntie Viwe. Okay.
Hello, Andy.
Antiza.
Hello, Andy. Hello, Andy.
Antiza.
I'm going to be going for closing, and I shall be going for one round of questions, 1 minute. One round, 1 minute. First round to you is just for 1 minute.
Yeah. Guys, take your annual checking of the vitals, medical check.
Please.
Yeah. See what is your cholesterol reading, blood pressure, HIV tests, and.
Why did you have to throw in HIV test?
I have to.
Go
I
okay.
have to because
Go
people
okay.
are living quite.
Okay, prostate if you need to endure.
Yes, prostate.
Prostate. Go okay.
Prostate.
Go okay.
For the
No,
longest
we're
time.
old enough
And
to
we
talk
all know
about
how prostate examinations are taken.
No. Yes,
are they
but it has
taken?
changed. If that's your
After
fear.
us.
So please check your vitals, check your organs if they are functioning well, and do what you have to do to minimize the risk and the exposure, right? And exercise, and try and take time for yourself, to yourself. Try and detach from the outcomes that are not ideal for you, and recalibrate your mind. Reevaluate your truths. It's an ongoing exercise. Once more, you will be fine.
Yeah.
You will be fine.
Okay, love it. Asfale, 1 minute noodle there.
Yo,
One
1 minute
round.
noodle. One round, 1 minute. Okay, so I need to say this. Uweza said exercise, I'll say exercise.
What?
When it comes to prostate cancer, singamachita, guys, it's all about release. Go ask your doctor about it at least 3 times a week. It needs to go this thing. Oganya, you're gonna have.
You guys have got fun, doctor.
No. You need to release at least 3 times a week in order for you to remain prostate cancer free. I'm just saying. Okay, that's 15 seconds.
I
done.
have so many
Now,
questions right
coming
now. but it's fine.
coming back to our topic for today in terms of exhaustion. We need to, like I said at the beginning, give ourselves enough time to forgive ourselves primarily. To reflect and to replan and to move forward. Every day that you wake up is another opportunity for you to start or can you try again.
Yeah, and let's meditate.
That's it.
Let's meditate.
Meditate, bro.
Yeah.
Light
Prayer
a
and
candle.
meditation.
Take time to yourself, even if it's for 1 minute, 3 minutes in a day. Before you sleep, give yourself time. Give yourself time for self.
All right. Love
Most
that.
important.
Love that. Guys, we are leading very hectic and very complex lives. It is not uncommon for us to find ourselves feeling tired and exhausted. And today, with the gents, I feel like we have brought the topic for discussion. We're not closing off. You can take it on further with whomever you sit with. But do let us in on your thoughts on the comments below, please.
Please subscribe,
And as we
like.
say that, I imagine a situation, and I want to maybe pose it as a question for you to ponder until we see each other again on the next episode. But if your old self would meet you today, what would be the comment? Would they say you have made it? And if you compare how that old self would reflect and how you're feeling, how big is the gap? But let's take it even further. The future self that you imagine, how will you arrive there? Will you arrive there absolutely exhausted? Is that the life that you are cultivating? Or are you open to an alternative? Because if you are, there are alternatives. There's meditation. And you do not have to give everybody around you instant access, instant responses. When everybody reaches out to you, you are allowed to take a break. Breathe. Take some air. Okay. You are here and you are the ambassador of what it is to be you. Don't let the world tell you how to do it. It is a wrap.